So let's talk about Steven Spielberg's big tale of a now grown up Peter Pan, Hook, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary today. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to as the Big D. This time around, I bring to you a review of the 1991 fantasy swashbuckler adventure flick, Hook, released by TriStar, directed by Steven Spielberg. Written by James V. Hart and Malia Scotch-Marmo. It acts as a sequel to J.M. Barrie's 1911 novel Peter and Wendy, which of course that is Peter Pan, focusing on an adult Peter Pan who has forgotten all about his childhood. Now in his new life, he's known as Peter Banning, a successful but unimaginative workaholic lawyer with a wife and 2 children. But however, when his arch nemesis Captain Hook kidnaps his children, he returns to Neverland to save them. And along his journey, he reclaims the memories of his past and becomes a better person. The film stars Robin Williams along with Dustin Hoffman, Julia Roberts, Bob Hoskins, and Maggie Smith. Now, Spielberg had been developing the film in the early 80s with Disney and Paramount, which would follow the storyline seen in the 1924 silent film and the 1953 animated Disney film of Peter Pan, which I've already reviewed. In pre-production in 1985, but Spielberg abandoned the project, and Jim V. Hart, who co-wrote the screenplay, decided to give Nick Castle. Well, he developed the script with Castle and TriStar before Spielberg decided to direct in 1989. So let's get into the story. Successful San Francisco corporate lawyer Peter Banning has become a workaholic, straining his relationship with his wife Moira and their children Jack and Maggie. After promising to attend at least one of Jack's baseball games, but missing the last game of the season, Peter flies with his annoyed family to London to visit Moira's grandmother, Wendy Darling. In London, Peter, Moira and Wendy attend a charity dinner in Wendy's honor at the Great Ormond Street Hospital, leaving Wendy's old friend Toodles and her housekeeper Liza with the children. When they return, the children are missing, and there is a ransom note from Captain James Hook. Peter involves the authorities, but Wendy insists that only he can save Jack and Maggie, as he is really Peter Pan. Peter refuses to believe her. Later in the nursery, he encounters Tinkerbell, who brings him to Neverland with pixie dust. She drops Peter into Hook's pirate haven, where he reveals himself to Smee and Hook after seeing his children on display. Surprised to see how weak Peter has become, Hook challenges him to fly and rescue his children, preparing to execute him when he fails. And Tink persuades Hook to release Peter instead, promising to train him for battle over the next 3 days. After accidentally falling overboard and being saved by Neverland mermaids, Peter is then taken to the Lost Boys, now led by Rufio. The boys mock Peter at first, but eventually recognize and train him, encouraging him to use his imagination to restore his memory and abilities. Yes, to once again become, as they call him, the Pan. Meanwhile, Hook despairs that he will not have true revenge on Peter until Smee suggests they manipulate the Banning children into switching sides. This does not work with Maggie, but Jack is swayed due to Peter's repeated broken promises. Hook has the pirates play a game of baseball, which Peter sees while trying to steal Hook's namesake. Dismayed to see Jack treating Hook as a father figure, Peter returns to the Lost Boys camp with renewed determination. After seeing his shadow move independently, Peter follows it and discovers the treehouse where Wendy and her brothers once stayed. Inside, Tink helps Peter remember how he was lost as an infant in the early 1900s, brought by her to Neverland, and had his adventures with the Darlings. He also recalls frequently visiting Wendy after the Darlings returned to London. until Wendy grew old. Pierre then fell in love with Wendy's grandmother, Maura, and chose to stay, losing his memory and being adopted by the Bannings. Recalling Jack's birth is the strong, happy thought that restores Pierre's ability to fly, bringing him back as Peter Pan. Rufio turns his sword over to Pierre in reverence. The Lost Boys celebrate, and that night, Tink professes her love for Pierre with a kiss. However, Pierre still chooses to save his family. Yep. Alright, now for the final act and the ending. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below to avoid the ending spoilers. If you've seen the movie already, please continue on after the 5 seconds are over with. Here we go. Okay, you've been warned. Pierre and the Lost Boys fight Hook and his pirates the next day. As Jack watches, Pierre rescues Maggie and Hook's crew surrenders, but Rufio duels Hook and is fatally wounded. With his dying breath, Rufio wishes he could have had a father like Pierre. Jack comes to his senses about his father and they reconcile. Pierre duels Hook and defeats him, whereupon Hook is devoured by the reanimated corpse of the taxidermied crocodile. Tink takes Jack and Maggie back to London, and Pierre appoints young Lost Boy Thudbutt as his successor before leaving. Pierre awakens in Kensington Gardens, seeing someone resembling Mr. Smee sweeping up some empty bottles nearby. Tink appears and bids a tearful farewell to Pierre before departing. Reuniting with his family at Wendy's house, Pierre decides to devote more time to them. Pierre hands former Lost Boy Toodles his old bag of marbles, which Studbutt had given to Pierre earlier, whereupon Toodles joyfully sprinkles himself with pixie dust and takes off. As Pierre and his family watch Toodles fly back to Neverland, Wendy remarks that their adventures are truly over, and Pierre counters that to live would be an awfully big adventure. End of story. So what did I think of Hook? Well, it's been years since I last saw this film, but even so, I do have some fond memories of this. I really did like the atmosphere of this, and this had a lot of fun moments. This does rank as one of my few favorite films starring the late, great Robin Williams, who this was absolutely real funny. Yeah. Anyway, as it was released on this day, December 11th, in 1991, 30 years ago, the film received mixed reviews from critics, but they did praise the performances, particularly those of Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman, who plays Hook, as well as the musical score from John Williams, who was certainly no stranger to working with Steven Spielberg, as well as the production values, but they criticized the screenplay and tone. I can understand, but I still like some of the story, but for certain reasons. And the tone, well, yeah, it was kind of a little, but I didn't care. I liked it as is. The film was, however, a commercial success, but its box office take was lower than expected. Spielberg also later came to be disappointed with the film, as the film only went on to make $300 million worldwide. However, it has gained a strong cult following since its release. It got nominated in 5 categories at the Academy Awards and spawned merchandise including video games from Sony ImageSoft, as well as comic book adaptations and action figures, which I believe they were done by Mattel, I'm pretty sure. Oh well. Anyway, like I said, I really think our cast of characters were really good. Aside from Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams, I really loved Julia Roberts playing Tinkerbell, or Tink as I call it for short. Really good. Smee was played by Bob Hoskins, who recently appeared in a film Spielberg worked on with Robert Zemeckis, and that, of course, was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where he played Eddie Valiant. Dame Maggie Smith, who would later go on to do various things, most notably the Harry Potter franchise, as well as the British drama Downton Abbey, which, of course, she'll be back for its brand new movie sequel next year, playing Grandma Wendy. This even features a young Gwyneth Paltrow in one of her earlier roles, playing the teenage version of Wendy. Very impressive. I didn't know that. Jack is played by Charlie Cosmo, and Carolyn Goodall plays Moira, and Amber Scott plays Maggie. And we have Dante Basco as Rufio, the Arthur Mallet as Toodles, Isaiah Robinson as Pockets, and Roshan Hammond as Studbutt. See, James Mayo as Don't Ask, Thomas Tolak as Too Small, Ahmed Stoner as No Nap. I know that's mostly the Lost Boys, but there's many others and what have you. Really something. Now, you will see some brief. Now, in addition, a number of celebrities and family members made brief credited and uncredited cameos in the film. Musicians David Crosby and Jimmy Buffett appeared, as well as Glenn Close and former boxer Tony Burton, and even George Lucas and Carrie Fisher. Yeah. And Jacob and Rebecca Hoffman, two of a couple of Dustin Hoffman's children, briefly appear in scenes in the normal world. And screenwriter Jim Hart's 11-year-old son appeared in this as well. Yep. Really something. Nevertheless, I find this film to be a bit underrated and what have you. But I don't care. I loved the Hook since I saw it a few years back. But like I said, I hadn't seen it in some time. But I do have some fond memories of it though. So anyway, with a pretty decent story, maybe not quite the best, but it's still pretty good though. But I still like the way it was though, and a great cast that included Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, Julia Roberts, Bob Hoskins, and all the others. A great score by John Williams and what have you. Would I recommend Hook? I would say hell yeah. This is one flick you need to give it a try and what have you. I mean, if you're a Peter Pan fan, you've not seen this, you need to watch it. I think this is worth a look into. Or if you're a big Robin Williams fan, I'd say go for it. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on Hook in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of Steven Spielberg's newest attempt, and that, of course, is the new remake of West Side Story. So thanks for watching, and if you like this, you may want to consider checking out my reviews for these other films. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of Disney's Peter Pan. The upper right-hand corner is my review of a Disney flick Robin Williams actually took part of after he had done Hook, and that was Aladdin, where he voiced the genie. Or if you just want some more Robin Williams, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my review of Mrs. Doubtfire. And the bottom right-hand corner is a button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.